Live in the building, it's your boy doing a dope interview.
Cool. In the building with Killa Time, for sure. All right, well, we are live with Killa Time on TikTok, welcoming everyone to the Hip Hop Scholar Podcast, where beats meet bibliographies, where the streets meet the syllabus, and where hip hop is studied, celebrated, and preserved as living scholarship. I'm your host, Melanie, the Hip Hop Scholar, here on the TikTok Live with the Killa Time. I am professor, researcher, and devoted steward of this culture that we call hip hop. And today we are welcoming royalty to the archive. Today is not just any other interview. Today is alignment, rhythm recognizing rhythm, ink saluting ink, bars bowing to the bibliography. And for today's guest, hip hop is not just content, it's a calling. This is what happens when preparation meets purpose, when craft meets consciousness, when the archive meets the future and says, I see you. Today is not small talk either. We're going to talk about scholarship in motion, story meeting structure, and a lived experience stepping into the light and refusing to whisper. Today is vibration, frequency, and the inheritance with today's guest. And that hip hop scholar family is sacred. Now, when we talk about Brooklyn hip hop, when we talk about artists who were raised inside the culture and not just around it, we are talking about individuals who carry history in their breath. And up next is Killa Time, an MC. I know that's right, Killa Time in the building. He is an MC whose story doesn't begin with a marketing plan. It begins in the neighborhoods of Brooklyn, Coney Island, Bushwick, Williamsburg, places where hip hop wasn't just for entertainment purposes, it was oxygen. Killa Time represents that original New York energy, the kind forged in ciphers and breakdancing living rooms, and mixtape culture, and DJs spinning records that shaped entire generations. He didn't just step into hip hop raised him. You can see it in the consistency, the delivery, and the discipline. Killa Time has versatility across sounds, longevity across years, and a dedication that doesn't bend nor fold. He is no momentary artist. This is a product of the birthplace of hip hop, stepping into a global conversation, because right now, Killa Time is killing it, moving with undeniable range, with Mama Tu Fuego, bringing heat, rhythm, and undeniable club energy. He shows us movement with pulse and international flavor. Then he pivots to trap doors, stepping fully into trap cadence, darker tones, sharper edges, weightier atmosphere. That contrast alone tells you something. This isn't an artist confined to just one lane. This is someone navigating genres with ease, like a fish gills, breathing in water, shifting from club anthem to trap narrative without even losing his identity. What can't this young scholar do? The versatility feels natural, not forced, precise, not experimental. And that's the mark of a true wordsmith. And here on the Hip Hop Scholar Podcast, we honor that. We give flowers to those who built themselves from foundation, brick by brick, bar by bar. And so today we're not just going to talk about music. We're going to talk about Killa Time's origin, his endurance, and we're going to talk about what it means to carry Brooklyn every time you touch a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to the Hip Hop Scholar Podcast, the one and the only Killa Time. Yeah.
Beautifully said. You couldn't say it any better. The crowd goes crazy.
I know that's right, sure. That's right.
Yeah, I love that. That was beautiful.
Gotta get flowers where they do. Yes, sir. so much star power that you have, Killa. Like it, that was the issue with Riverside. Riverside is not the best app, but you have a lot of star power with you, for sure. And sometimes things won't let you be great, but that pivot again, going from one lane to another, you're doing it seamlessly as a young scholar in the hip hop game. So salute to you, young brother, for sure.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the love greatly. Trust me. Yeah, just it comes natural. And you got a love for something. You just keep adding to the work. That's it. You just gotta keep pushing, man. Can't give up. But
Absolutely. Never give
how
up.
how are you doing? How's
I'm doing
everything?
well. Yeah, everything's pretty good. Just waiting for the spring to come along, and was definitely excited about this interview. With a artist of your caliber, I'm very proud and honored to have you on the podcast. So I want to start with the very first question that I ask my artists.
Mhm.
Talk to us about first time you heard hip hop. When did you fall in love with hip hop, Killa?
Mm. Definitely when I was a child. I'm talking about toddler. My father was he was the owner of Freeze Records. He the first one to sign Jay-Z to his record label. You know what I mean? He pushed that Dead President's record heavy at a time when Nas was the hottest thing out. All the radios wanted to hear Nas type artists. You know what I mean? So it was hard to get Jigga out there. And he kind of he switched the sound up. I don't know if you remember. Hove used to be like, "We could be bad, the average." That was the Hove. That was the old Bob of Hove, and people wasn't really messing with that sound. So my pops pushed that. When Hove switched the cadence over to, it was more of a Nas like feel. That way, people could accept the delivery better. And once he had that Dead President's record, my pops would run down on radio stations everywhere, like people that were trying to push that record and break it. But to my point, I was surrounded by a lot of that vintage '90s hip hop, like that grittiness. And Coney Island, that's what we was listening to. We was listening to hip hop, and like that beat street culture. We was into that. Like you mentioned, the breakdancing culture and all of that stuff. It started there. I felt like that helped mold and shape how I was, attracted to hip hop. And just in the streets, like, just being around people, coming up, it was like '90s hip hop was like starting to really shape into what it became going into the 2000s. And it was like a big shift because you notice the styles changed, the music, the beats, the way it involved more. I don't know, like it just involved women more, all of that. Like so, it started growing and growing and growing, and I just fell in love with it because of the creativity, like the different lanes and avenues you could jump in with hip hop. So I thought it was really dope. And I was young, I was trying to figure it out, like how to do music on my own. And I had the right peers showing me how to do it. Like my father, my uncle's a DJ. Also, shout outs to DJ Cash in Atlanta. He's doing his thing right now. Right now, he's doing my piano. He's doing Afro beat. But shout outs to him. But he was big in the hip hop culture also. So those guys, they helped shape who I am today. Like coming up in the hip hop game.
I mean, not only the hip hop game, the birthplace of hip hop. And yes, all hip hop heads remember Jay-Z with the grill and with that rapid beat and everything. I
Yes.
mean, to see him transition and to witness that, and then your father being a pinnacle of hip hop history in paving the way for him, that speaks volumes. I was earlier, I was listening to you go off on that Who Run It beat. And I was like,
Mm.
man, listen to this young cat. Like you really have like you no stops, no when people speak naturally, they have
Yeah.
a way of, having to stop and gather themselves. But you was just spitting and going off such a way where it's like, damn, this is the real thing. Definitely the real thing. And so, like you said, Coney Island in Brooklyn, growing up in that, especially being around in that record label. Shout out to your uncle and your father as well, and everyone who helped to raise you.
Yeah.
How did that impact you as you grew up? How did that shape your ear as you were growing up? So you're listening and absorbing this. How did that help you to kind of figure out your own style?
Um, I was just like thirsty to hear something new. Like it was always something exciting about like, damn, what's the next record is gonna be? Like, what style is next? Who about to come up with the newest line, the hottest line? Then it became that like it was just the art of it was dope. Like just knowing that like Nas, I was like probably number one Nas fan back in the day. You know what I mean? Nas, then DMX, Jay Z, of course, and then we had new artists that was coming in on the rise. Like once like Fab and Jada Kiss and the Lock started hitting, and it's just so many new styles that we used to. I was just fiending. I was craving to hear like, oh damn, what's a new lane or what's a new style they could bring. So I'll try to mix everything up because I was just a young kid just listening to them. So I'm like, all right, how could I come up with different flows and something new, like something that could be interesting or just sound hot on beat. And that was just the energy like that all that music gave me. So and even just sitting around my pops producing hip hop records, house records, and like he's doing all these huge remixes, and I'm sitting around listening to him be creative and come up with just dope stuff, like just the illest shit ever. So and then even seeing him DJ, you know what I mean, seeing him scratch and mix, he'll do blends with, he'll do like a Nas verse, he'll throw a Nas verse on a Jigga beat, you know what I mean, on some DJing, and he'll do dope blends like that. And like hearing blends like that, it's like, damn, all of these verses could go, it could work on any other beat. It could work on any other song and sound dope. And that's how dope, like that's how good these dudes were. Like they was tough. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all of that, had a big impact on me and just seeing that, just I just made me want to be more creative with how I'll put stuff together. And I
I mean,
basically taught
mhm.
myself like as far as writing goes and stuff like that. I started off just what I mean? I was like probably I say like the first time I wrote something down, probably I was like 9 years old. Had to be like 9. Me and my cousin we was trying to battle, like come up with, you know what I mean, who could come up with a full verse. And that's how it started. So yeah.
Okay, so battle rapping at such a young age and being in this, not just in an area or region, you were in the hip hop multiverse.
Yeah.
And even though you have, these pioneers of rap like Nas and Jay-Z and everyone you just named, shout out to your father for being able to place that in a way, in such a magical way that it worked out. Not everybody has that gift of mixing. You have DJs and then you got people that can really splice and blend that music together. And so
Yeah,
growing up
facts.
in that environment, being self-made in that music and then again inheriting that as well, that's royalty. I really want you to consider that as being royalty and inheriting the kingdom of being able to take that microphone like the sword and to cut through any genre, any beat, because again, your catalog speaks for itself. It was several beats that you were going off of with ease,
No,
right?
I
Not a
agree. I
sweat,
agree.
not a breath, no bottled water, none of that. And so when I think about that, and like you were saying, you were at a young age. When did this name Killa Time come from? When and how did you come up with that name Killa Time?
Also, basically, I had moved from Coney Island uh, to Williamsburg, and basically, I was on the side block of Cooper Projects. So I lived up the block. Cooper Projects was right around the corner from me. So, long story short, I was like going to elementary school. I was going to 132, and I met all the project kids, all the homies like that. And when they met me, I was just immediately able to adjust with them because I came from prior hoods. I came from Bushwick Projects, and I lived in those projects, Bushwick Projects and Borinquen, And in Coney Island, of course, that where we was at, Neptune, that whole block was like hood, like it was crazy. You know what I mean? So I came from that. So once they kind of realized my cloth, like how it was, they kind of was rocking with me. They brought me over to Cooper, and I met some day one bros, like my bro Hef, rest in peace, CJ. We came together one day and was like, yo, we gonna try to like let's rap. Like why we ain't what's up? Boom. But they didn't know I was like I kinda had these type of ties or whatever, boom. But I just was a kid. I was just trying to, just learn shit, get through it. But anyway, long story short, we did a freestyle probably like this is like I was 13 going on 14. We did a DOA freestyle. That was to the remix to Jay-Z, the DOA anthem. So he was like, he's talking about death for auto tune. And I did that. And I was like, what I said? I was like, it's Killa Time KT if you put it in the acronym. Shorty see the flow hot water, she teabagging them. One hate is to kiss the jeans sag again or whatever. It was that line when they heard that. I was like, it's Killa Time KT if you put it in the acronym. Ever since then, because they was all calling me KT. That's my initials. Kevin Terry. And my bro Papes, he was like, "Oh, son, like yo, that's ill. Like you feel me? I'm gonna start calling you Killer." Like he started running with it. So everybody in the hood, once they was bumping that freestyle, they like, "Oh, we call it that's Killa Time right there." Off a freestyle. That was just off one freestyle. So, oh man, you know how we used to do it back in the day? We record it, we put it on a CD, we passing out the CDs. Everybody just bump whatever you got on the CD, and they just want to check out the music. So they was playing that in the cars, all of that. And then once they started hearing that, it started rocking. They were just rocking with the name. And it wasn't even just from music. I played ball too. I played basketball. And I was really like I was good at it at a young age. And they were coincided with that too, also. Like, cause they basically say, oh, he a killer on the court, on the basketball court, and and in the studio. So it just worked out. It kind of stuck with me for a little bit. No, not for a little bit, for until today, and I just been using it.
I mean, that again, legacy today, in the future, you are the Killa Time.
Yeah.
That is a unique name and a new unique situation, like the origin story. That was especially during a freestyle at 13, 14. That is an amazing resonance in your confidence. Number one, you have to be confident to freestyle, especially in front of a group of folks, and more especially in the block of New York that you were raised in. Like nobody is halfway doing anything whenever they're, especially in New York, but coming to the microphone on a freestyle in a cipher, and within the cipher, your freestyle came up with the name that would be part of your legacy, part of your, like Superman, like your superpower, your X-Man name is Killa Time, because that's exactly what you do. It's like Wolverine. What is he?
Facts.
He is Wolverine that cuts through everything because he has this gift given to murder on a mic. That's super dope.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great origin story, especially around the people that supported you in that, having a group of friends in a neighborhood that that represents that. And so I wonder too, at such a young age, as I'm listening, at such a young age, you are, the epitome of what hip hop is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to bring in confidence. It's supposed to bring in that literacy, that rhyme, that writing along with that. When did that transition for you to go from just performing music to, having the ciphers and then to make it something serious?
It was just, I say my competitive nature. Like we grew up, like we felt like everything was a competition. You feel me? Like whether it was basketball, music, or we just racing on the block or whatever. Everything was competition. Like so. I felt like with the music, we would push each other. Like, definitely with me and my friends, my day ones that I grew up with, we all wanted to be better than each other, and at the same time, we wanted to make good music. Like, we wanted to make something everybody was feeling, and we felt like there was great potential in what we was doing. So we were competing. So the more we was competing, it's like everybody would talk about it, so they'd be like, "Oh, who had the best verse on this song? Like, who had the best verse on this freestyle?" And it just never stopped because we didn't want to stop recording because we had so much fun doing it. Like, it was as much as we was trying to take each other heads off lyrically, we was loving it. Like, we was loving the outcome of the music. It was sounding greater and greater, and like it went from that to we every day we was trying to figure it out. Like, what is a way we gonna craft ourselves? Like, we need to start using concepts. Let's start rapping about something. Let's start actually talking about something. You know what I mean? Because it started off, we was just like, just trying to say the hottest shit. Like, we like, yo, we trying to say the hottest ball. Boom, boom, boom. So even the older dudes respect us because that was another thing. I grew up, we hung around dudes 10 years older than us, 5 to 10 years old. We wasn't just around kids. We wasn't around kids. Like, I was like 12, 13. I'm hanging around with dudes that's 21, 18. They into other stuff. You know what I mean? And we was kind of forced to grow up fast because of that. So that translated to the music and how we live life, period. So yeah, that competitive nature, man, that's what brought out, like just taking it to the next level and, just trying to be a beast, like trying to be better than the next man. I ain't care if it was my best friend, like I was trying to have a better verse than him, you know what I mean? Like straight up. And then even with basketball too, like I was trying to it was so competitive, like we was playing each other. It's 2 in the morning that night, you know what I mean? Late nights. And we got the music on the side. You know what I mean? Where we having arguments about who's better, Jay-Z, Biggie, or Nas. You hear that all the time, right? We arguing late nights about that, and all of that energy just transcended to what we was doing. So, I feel, yeah, that's basically yeah. In a nutshell, that's how I was growing into the music and becoming more, just aggressive and just writing wise. I just became better because of that. Just being a competitor.
A competitor and building that discipline in such a classic way. Like that sounds like a movie, right? To
Yeah.
be in the midst of hip hop mecca, in the midst of having on the block where up the street from where Jay-Z is and Big Papa and Onyx and Wu-Tang and all these different New York legends, you are there
Thanks.
in the midst of all of that, right? And then as children around adults who were still on that mantra of hip hop. Hip hop is something that is not just music; it's life. It's the culture. I dare ask you, Killa Time. How did hip hop save you? Because in a space where in the projects, I'm from Louisiana, and we got some rough neighborhoods down here too. And I live in Houston, and we got those wards that are here too, where everybody doesn't make it out. Everybody doesn't have the opportunities to be able to use their gifts to get them out or to see past 21 or to even be able to continue in that same opportunity to work with each other and build each other up. So in what way do you feel like hip hop saved you and protected you when it could have been the other way?
Um, it saved me greatly because it gave me a focus. It gave me, what I mean, something to look forward to, something to say like, oh yeah, this is a way out. You know what I mean? I've seen so many people around me through music make money, make a living. You know what I mean? Feed their kids. Just all the right things. Like just talk about all the right things. You know what I mean? Because I've seen the bad too. You've seen the ugly. Hip hop wasn't on peaches and cream. We can't. You feel me? We got an ugly in it too, because some people took it the wrong way, used it the wrong way. As far as like gang culture and what I mean, shout outs to all the blood, all the homies and all that. You feel me? All the crib homies we grew up with. But if we being real, we looking back, like it created a lot of violence. You know what I mean, around us. A lot of it was unnecessary. I feel like we could have came together and did something bigger. But it is what it is. Like it shaped us. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, the bad, the good, it all shaped us. And we still, to this day, I got great love for all my blood homies that we grew up with. You know, everybody that's involved in the gang culture, but definitely hip hop just gave us all a light. You know what I mean? And we had some dudes that was heading down almost doing life in jail, and you know what I mean. But nah, they chose to continue doing music and help grow. Like you know what I'm saying. So we got those guys in my circle. You know what I mean. I could name a few of those. So the hip hop was like one of our greatest tools, growing up. You know what I mean, in our neighborhood, and it helped. It also like also into our sports, everything we did. You know what I mean? We used it. It just gave us energy. It gave us that energy to keep pushing. So that's man, like hip hop was everything to us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can't put it in no other words. Like it definitely was everything to us. It made our parents proud. Like you know what I mean? That says a lot. Because like for your parents to actually agree with it, like because sometimes hip hop got put in such a negative light. There was a time where it was all bad. It was like, oh, this is hip hop is creating this. It's creating violence in the neighborhoods and and sometimes it overshadowed the good. Like how much it kept us together. So
Yep.
that's that's in a nutshell. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it did for me.
Well said and stated, young scholar, because again, hip hop is such a culture. And the premise of this podcast is to archive artists like yourselves in how the culture is creating, has created and built you up. This discipline, this, wordsmith, and the ability of your mind to think on those type of levels, the
Right.
maturity that you and your friends had at the time and building from there. And again, the protection that hip hop also was able to bring to you, the music all together. And it's not just hip hop for you. I know different genres. Like you said, your father, he was able to do house music and different type of genres of music to go along with that. And
Mm-hmm.
so as this artist, you have been an artist at such a young age. How have you measured your growth over time? Can you speak to us about the growth of when you started to where you are now, and then even possibly what goals you have? Well, let's start with the growth. How do you measure your growth as a hip hop artist, Killa?
I measure it by like just being versatile, like being able to adjust to any type of genre of music because not everybody could do it. I promise you, not everybody could do it. Like there's people that's completely stuck in their lane. They could never branch out and go do a house record and just rap over a house beat, or they can't rap over a Spanish beat. So because of my background, my race, I like to tap into everything because I have love for both sides of my family. I got my Haitian side and my Puerto Rican side. Then, we got our Afro American side. We got everything all balled up into one. And, that's me. And I got love for all, you know what I mean, all sides of my family and even my friends and my people. So I like to tap into Latin records. The house culture is super dope to me. I've been around it all my life. And I ain't gonna lie, growing up, I never really understood it. It was just a bunch of loud do. You know what I mean? I didn't really understand it too much growing up. But as I got older, and I'm talking like literally as of late, like 10 years, because right now I'm 36 years old, by the way. I'm talking like from ages 25 to 35, seeing my father do it overseas, live and in person, I understand the feel of the house music, like the power of it, and seeing it physically, it helped me to be able to do a record with him. You know what I mean? That involves house music in it and hip hop. So I was able to, understand what the crowd wants to feel from that. So it's all about experience, also. With the music and creating the music, like you got to go through experiences and go through things to be able to create music. Because I'm one of those. I'm gonna talk about what I see. I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna rap about what I've experienced. Like I'm not gonna say I knocked somebody out and I never and it never happened. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk about what really happened in my life. So that's another big thing. Like everything I write about is actually facts. Like I've been through it. I don't fabricate nothing, and that's the beauty of the art to me. You able to express your life or what you're going through your lyrics and your music and what you create. So that's the biggest growth right there to me in music. as a hip hop artist. Also being able to understand my audience, like not all music is for everybody. As far as the kids are our future. They everything. So I have to have music where I hold back on certain stuff that I'm talking about, and I can shape it to where it's appealing to the kids. But it's also bumpable for the adults. But it's respectable. It's appropriate for the kids. There's not no cursing, and the kids are able to also feel the music too. So you got to be able to be versatile enough to switch it up for everybody or audiences. So that back then I didn't care at all. Like I say, like from the ages 11 to 20, 21, 22 ish when I got to college, I really didn't care like what I was just going and just like rapid fire. Whatever come on the paper, whatever words come to the paper, I was gonna rap it. I was gonna spit it because as long as it sounded hot, I was like, all right, yeah, we running with that next track. And so I grew from just being that guy that just was run in the booth and we'll do 5-hour studio sessions. And our goal in our mind, we felt like we learned how to one take stuff. So that was a big thing. Can you one take your verse? Because we ain't have all day. We couldn't be like, we got school the next day. So, I used to book my sessions in the hood with the big homie Bones. Shout outs to Bones. And he used to teach us like, yo, you gotta one take your verse. Learn your verse first. Before you come in here and we spending hours trying to get one verse down. So we used to try to memorize our verse first so we knew what we was doing when we came in. So when I started booking sessions, we grew from doing that to we're gonna do a song each hour. So if I book a 6-hour session, we expecting to finish 6 songs. Because me and my bros, yeah, we'll do like me personally too. I'm gonna knock out a song in an hour. It's gonna get mixed after the session. Then I'm gonna go to the next. Now once the next hour is in, we doing the next song. So I transitioned from doing that. Yeah, I got some good music out of it, but now that 10 years past that, and I've kept advancing, now I take my time. Now I'm spending 1 to 3 hours on a record, or maybe more, because I like to keep fine tuning it. I'll go back if I need a word to have more clarity. I'll go back and redo the word. You know what I mean? Back then we would just rap it because we trying to one take it or go fly through it and keep the natural energy. But now we have the tools and we could listen, sit back, make it sound sharper. We could go back in, hit that same cadence and energy on that line, and just make everything sound nice and crisp and clear and hit. So I just definitely take my time way more now when I record my music or I'm creating. So that's another thing I feel like I grew as far as being a hip hop artist and creating.
I mean, just the wisdom in that, what you just said, KT, about going from, that age of 11 to 21, that mind frame of just, rapping whatever comes to mind and however you feel, to the responsibility that comes with that. But even through those changes, you maintained your authenticity, having the same name, keeping the same people, the same drive, the same discipline, the same safety net that you had created when it comes to hip hop. So that's knowledgeable. As a young artist, you're still young, right? You still have the longevity ahead of you. And I really wonder what's going to be next for you. Since you are still an artist, I mean, developing other artists. Have you ever taken the time to like build up the next generation? Because with the wisdom in just that short amount of time that you just said, in the reflection of self, I would really love for you to, talk to others about that, because I don't think people understand the discipline that's needed to stay authentic, to stay true to self, and to grow over time, where, like you said, 6 hours, 6 songs in an hour, let's do it, to then transition in to make certain that it is exactly the impact that you are looking to make.
Right.
So I really wonder about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Every day, I could say ever since I've been doing it, I always have like the younger dudes. They contacted me. They want me to write a verse for them or give them pointers on, you know, they'll spit me their verses and say, hey, oh, what you think? You think, you know, how am I doing? Is it hot? What you think I should say? Should I put this here? Boom, boom, boom. And I always try to give them pointers. Like I always try to direct them, and you know, I basically tell them everything I learn all the time. You know what I mean? I have till this day, like, and female artists also. Like I done wrote songs for females. I wrote songs for all types of ages, like anything you could think of. I wrote songs for, or I helped them craft their lyrics into something, you know, that they like, and then where they can hit those pockets the right way. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it too is breath control, and like you said, you don't know how I be doing it. Sometimes it's just, you know, you just know the certain pockets you can hit, and when to take a breath, when to be to continue how you your flow on the music, and you also don't want to overword yourself in the song. Sometimes people have they writing and the idea is dope, but they overwriting because it doesn't need that much words in that line. So what you do is, you know, you dissect it. You kind of want to break it down. Like, all right, if I don't need the word the, if I pull up in the song like I'm pulling up, I'm chilling in the block on the whatever, you saying something like that, you take out the or whatever, it'll be easier to deliver that line. You know what I mean? Just a small example, but I would tell them stuff like that. Like if there's words that you do not need in your verse and you feel like it's troubling you or it's hard to get out and you kind of getting yourself remove it. You can still make the flow sound nice and stay in that pocket. So it's stuff like that. You know, I try to teach them, and right now, um, right now I've been, you know, just life been lifing. But every time they reach out, they ask me about certain bars, or if they think I should, you know, change these bars up or whatever. I try to help them, you know, as best as possible with my knowledge of, you know.
Yeah, man, with that a plethora of knowledge and so technical with it, you know, going into the verbiage and saying what you don't need, don't overwrite.
Yeah,
I see somebody wrote in the chat they have to go. I hate they had to leave because you just said
yeah,
some
Tia,
real spit there, KT,
yeah,
Professor KT, man, Dr. KT.
yeah, yeah.
Because taking it from self and being able to give to others, that's community.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the essence of hip hop, is building a community instead of saying, no, these beats are mine, these lyrics are mine, I don't want to share. But you're open and have the talent enough to say, hey, this would be better, this would be best. Matter of fact, rap this for me. And
Right.
helping other artists, that's that community that, you know, hip hop started from, is being able to express self and to connect to others when it came to the expressions that people had. That's so well done. And just in the future, just thinking about it, if you've already done so, and
Right.
maybe even in the future, you know, think about conducting like some real workshops and
Yeah,
really, you know, doing that even at the young age. Like you said, you were 13 when you started, like going to the middle schools
yeah,
and
kind of
starting
teach them,
there.
right? Mm-hmm.
Like that would be crazy.
Nah, that's a beautiful idea. I thought about it, and I'm probably gonna definitely do that. I'm looking into it in a few years. I'm gonna put together, you know, a whole presentation, a whole game plan on how I could teach people hip hop from scratch. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. I'm gonna see, like, you know, I could go around these Brooklyn areas and try to get that rolling. Maybe I could teach that in several schools or even in the community at the centers, our community centers. I'm all open to doing that too.
I mean, you know, shout out to your hometown. And again, that's that love you have for Brooklyn, man. Like, again,
Yeah, for
there too.
sure.
But I'm also thinking about places in Houston, places in
Hmm.
Texas and the Gulf
Yeah,
Coast that could benefit from those type of programs that, you know, that you
right.
already do without a name to it.
No, that'll be
Because
good. That'll be dope.
yeah, whether you are in person or even virtual, you know, there's a way, you know, the way that digital society is growing, you know, a person like yourself would be able to capture that attention, and really any opportunity to just speak. Of course, being in person is one thing, but being able to travel, not even just in the United States. Hip hop, in my research and my studies, hip hop is revered all over the world. Cuba has festivals. Japan has days and weeks where they celebrate hip hop. Australia, in Europe. I've interviewed rappers in Austria and South America. Like, hip hop is everywhere. It's global. Yeah. So in this global mindset, just like you said, you are Haitian, you are Puerto Rican, you are Afro-Latino, you have all of these different parts of the world that are in you, and those places permeate and can definitely benefit the world in exactly what you're doing. So yeah, start at home. Charity starts at home, but I also want you to think about, branching out with that too. And that's just a thought. That's just a thought that I had while you were speaking. And what else I wanted to think about too with your music, right? Because not only are you in the booth, you do performances, and then you do other things on social media. What do you prefer? Are you someone that likes to be in the booth putting the music together, or do you prefer the performance or even the cipher? Out of those three, are you the booth type rapper? Is that where you like to put your music together? Or you got to be on the stage and get that essence of power from the people? Or is it that natural hometown feel, like your origin with that cipher, where you have that circle of people together and bringing the rhymes? What's that for you?
I like all three, honestly. I like to do all three. The ciphers is dope. Let's talk about the ciphers. We've been doing that forever. Even today, like recently, we did what's the hip hop ciphers. We basically, this group of guys, man, they cool. Shout out to them. I'm gonna get their name together. But they'll go around and they'll just post up, play some beats, and everybody just go in a circle and just be rapping, flowing with ideas, whether it's written on freestyle or not. But we just all be bouncing off each other with ideas. Like, we'll probably throw a word in the air and we pick up off the word and we pick off the last line. Like, stuff like that, me and my bros do on the regular. Like, we sit around, because I have a bunch of rappers in my circle also. Shout outs to City, shout outs to Bing Nation, Boogie, shout outs to Boogie Costello, you heard. We got Tooks. We got Hef. Shout outs to Joel Ortiz. Joel Ortiz is one of the big pioneers in our hood, but we got, he's out doing his thing wherever he's at, but he's from Cooper Projects. Shout outs to Bones, JoJo. I could go for days, man. The hood we got, but we've been doing this since the beginning. We'll do 4 bars each, go in a circle, start a cipher like that, or we'll just spit our verses and just feed off that energy. And like, that's probably like one of the greatest things like ever. Like, it's so fun. Like, and like, even just doing it with people, like just regular people that don't really rap on a regular, we could show y'all how to have a good time with it too. Like, I could persuade the random, white person walking up the block how to rap easily. Like, I could just show him and he'll have a good time with it, with a smile on their face and walk away. Like, we can do that anytime. So I love ciphering. I love performing. Probably more than anything, because when I'm in the booth, I'm actually performing. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at it as these songs, I'm going to perform them. So you want to kind of put yourself in that element. And especially if the record asks for that energy, or what type of, you know what I mean? You want to kind of give it that same energy, like you performing it. And that's how you bring out the best feeling, in your delivery. And when it comes down to performing, I love it. I like to put the song selections together, and most of the time, because I have so much unreleased music, and then I got released music, I try to bind both of them, and I like surprising people, and they're like, "Damn, I ain't never heard that. What is that? Like, when is he putting that out?" And like, I'm like king of that. I have like probably 5,000 and something crazy unreleased tracks. I hate it, because a lot of these songs should have been came out. And I'm probably still gonna put it out. I'm gonna put it out in, increments, and just do different, give it different type of covers and titles, and try to coincide everything like that fits the subject possibly. So I'm gonna put out all this music, but I'm mad that a lot of it didn't come out at the time, because when I made those records, the timing of those records is like for a different time. I don't know if that makes sense. And like when you're a creator, you kind of you get over records fast. I get over my records really quick. It could be the hottest thing ever. People be like, "Damn," but you be like, "It's over." Like 3 months then pass. I got to make more. I got to make something new now. You just kind of move on quick as a creator, and other artists will know what I'm talking about. But that's a gift and a curse because some of them records probably could have popped or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. But again, back to the performance. I love doing that. I love showing gems that I have in the stash and just being able to perform it because there's records that I really love that I love to perform it and just being able to freestyle on the stage because out of nowhere, in between cuts, I like to freestyle. I like to walk you through it or walk you through a journey on how I made the record and then start rapping to it and then I jump into the next song. So I love performing. And yeah.
Well, if you had to rank them, cipher, booth, and performance, if I could get you to rank them, which one would be top elite, first, second, third, best, good, best, great, good? Let me get you to rank them real quick.
Damn, for me personally, I might have to say, it starts with the booth. I gotta go studio, performance, and ciphers is I feel like ciphers is free rec. That's recreation. That's like, pick up basketball. You know what I mean? Like you can just go outside and do it. So ciphers is always gonna be there. I love it to death, but everything starts in that studio.
That's what's up. I also want to tell you too, as a hip hop scholar, that nothing that you ever done is wasted, right? If you have 5,000 or even 10,000 tracks, the timing for them to come out is the exact timing. Mm-hmm. And to remember that always, it's always new music to people who haven't heard your music. Exactly. And you change over time. But everything that you said this evening, KT, has been about community. You very rarely have just focused on talking about yourself this entire time. You've talked about using hip hop to make community, to have your friends, to build this discipline, this competition with others, right? You're always on the court, even being in the booth. Like you've talked about being with others. So it's clear that you're not a selfish person where you're just putting out just particular ones that are just you. But I want you to always remember, everything has perfect timing. You are never late. You are always on time with all the gifts that are given to you. You have a talent. You have a stylized gift that has to be unfolded in a certain way. If not, then you would have been put out those records. Right. You'd have had, how many mixtapes out if that was for you. Right. But again, you've taken the time to talk to others, to bring up others and do different things. The white person walking up the block, who's doing that? And concerned with community with hip hop, KT, you are. And that's something too I'm reflecting on whenever I do speak with my guests. That communal spirit is something that is very evident in hip hop. I think what's very different for yours, though, is that, being in the Mecca, New York of hip hop, and navigating those particular areas that you're in and building that bar by bar, brick by brick, and staying above the water. It's really a success story, right? That you are still in the makings of creating. And while we're talking about success, what does success feel like to you? What is the success that you are trying to create or success that you've received? What does success look like to you?
Well, first of all, it's not about money because to a lot of people, they think money is everything. It rates you being successful. I feel like success for me is, the notoriety I gained just through things I already did. Battle rap. I jumped in the battle rap lane and I was literally battling, no beat, just raw, me going at you, trying to win 3 rounds of, just bars, putting bars together, putting raps together. And I killed dudes left and right. and I built my name. I just skyrocketed my name from a nobody. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew who the hell KT was, Killa Time was, and only my hood knew. You know what I mean, through the music and stuff like that. I feel like it's success. Like being able to be recognized by people that never knew you. You know what I mean, for your talent is success to me because it's like you never knew who I was until you met me. You know what I mean? And if I could leave that on the world, globally, internationally, that's my goal that's my idea of success. It's not even about money, okay, money makes it cool or whatever, but at the end of the day, I love doing music. I love delivering the art. I love rapping. You know what I mean? There's not a bone in my soul that would stop. So, and I think that's what it is. It's like I feel like I got so much to show as far as it's just so much that I could do with the music. Like I done created some crazy, just some dope ill shit. Like I feel like, damn, son, if only certain ears could hear this, it'll be over. You know what I mean? Like I'll take off. But that's my idea of success is getting people to, just notice you and realize like, oh, this kid is really good. Like he's really good at what he does. I like what he's talking about. Like the way he put it together was damn, like there's times where they compare me to the greats. Like for real. Like I have people that actually rap. They rap and they hear me and they're like, yo, damn, like what's his name? Like Nas ain't even saying it like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like for
Real
real.
talk,
Like
yeah.
like they're like, yo, like, you know what I mean? So stuff like that is ill to me. Like and I see that as success. Like, it fulfills my soul, man, just to know like there's people out there that haven't heard me and when they hear me and they feel good and they take a liking to any kind of art that I deliver to them, that's success to me. Like it's just the people. You know what I mean? It's the people for me, for real.
The people and the music. I was telling your
Yeah.
manager yesterday when we were went rollerblading yesterday. We were playing that "Mommy Tu Fuego" song.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in my mind, when we're skating, like that's the song that pops up, and I'm like, man, put that on repeat because that's the song that plays. And I'm so grateful to have you on the podcast and this platform. My goal for this podcast is as an archive,
Yeah.
is for academic scholarly merits where people in the future will come back to cite these sources, to
Right,
come
right.
back and cite what Killa Time has to say when it comes to community, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to staying authentic. This is something sacred. And meeting you after I have done my research on you, it makes even more of an emphasis on how much talent you really have. It's not just a wasted talent of a gift to someone. You are a person that understands that you have a responsibility when it comes to these gifts and these talents that you have. You are royalty on top of that, but at the same time, you're not wasting it. You have the leverage of social media, which you're using. Social media has been, a gift and a curse to
Yeah.
a lot of artists with being able to promote music, be able to meet different people through here. And this is just one way to really promote self, right?
Right,
And
right,
and
right.
I hope that I've been able to assist in that way because you do have greatness. You absolutely have greatness. It's man,
Thank you.
because when you are very welcome. Because for me, growing up listening to, because I'm much older than you. You ain't gonna know how old I am, but I'm much older than you. But to remember those same New York giants that started hip hop and we were listening to and trying to mimic that same accent that you have in the South,
Right.
to hear that that's what you grew up with, like that is sacred. It is a
Yeah.
very sacred thing of your upbringing in hip hop that you are not taking for granted. And it's amazing to hear that part. And so I want to ask you one more question. And once we get this technical difficulties with this Riverside, I got to get you back on
Yeah.
because there's so much to learn from you. And I say that for every guest or for most guests. But you're starting at the age of 13, really at 8 years old, and being around you know, your father and just growing up in that, like and you're being very modest. Mm-hmm. Like that part there, you know, I'm having to get you to say things because you really have such an inspiring way of sharing your information. Like you're an inspiration, KT, when it comes to that. And, you know, I'm just, you know, just proud to hear you got a great head on your shoulder as a young person and being able to move forward in excellence. What's next for you? Now we got the Mame Te Fuego. We also have the Trapdoors, which are some dope tracks. Yeah. Both of those being so contrasting. They're so different, but it's you in both of them. You know, that chapter, I don't even know how you're able to manage that, but then talk to us about what's next. What can we expect next from the one and only Killa Time?
Next, well, I got a couple of performances coming up. We're just gonna take it one day at a time. I got tracks following the Mame Te Fuego. We got another Latin English joint, which is crazy fire. I'm gonna put that out. We're gonna release that through Iron Hammond Music. Shout outs to Iron Hammond Music on TikTok. We're gonna try to get that record rolling while we still promoting Mame Te Fuego. I got these joints where I use old school hip hop beats and kind of today's new formula. We kind of mixed it in. Those tracks are dope. We're gonna put those out. I'm gonna kind of like put out 6-track EPs, and you know, as the months go into the summer, we're gonna try to put out 2 EPs with 6-track joints where I might have 6 shorty joints. So we're gonna go with 6 songs that's for the ladies, you know, club type joints, you know, soft joints. Then I might have 6 hard records that's more like not super street, but it's rapping. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm rapping just different type of flows, different type of genres, but it's rap. So it's gonna be a little harder than the other EP. So I'm gonna just continue to do that. I'm gonna continue to just drop little spoon feed people, you know, every other month, and give people a chance to listen and just enjoy the new music. That's it. And I try my best to, you know, perform over the water. I want, you know, working together with my pops also. Okay. I'm working together with my father also. He trying to get me overseas and, you know, perform with him. We have records also. Yeah, me and my father got records together also. We got house hip hop album type thing going, and I gotta learn those. Like those records are super fire. They dope. I haven't listened to it in a while, but you know, I'm gonna just study it, and you know, when I travel with him, I'm gonna probably perform it at his club he got in the UK and Liverpool that he got, and I'm gonna try to, you know, do some collabs with him overseas. So I gotta prepare myself for a bunch of that, and that's the next goal for Killa Time, because I'm gonna attack international and, you know, and spoon feed my people around the way with new music and throughout the states, and try to reach out to as many people as I could. And keep creating, just keep going. Like I can't. Trust me. There's been times where I'm talking about recently, even years before, where I'm just like, you know what? Like I can't. I wanted to stop, quit, but you know, I don't know. I just bounce back once I get get in that mode, or start hearing different types of music. It fires me back up, right back up. I start writing again, start creating in my head. I just can't stop. But there's times I broke down because, you know, I feel like I wasn't getting where I wanted to be. So, but it is what it is. That's life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's people I can still inspire. You know what I mean? Kids. You know, even older people my age. I'm still inspiring people my age. So that's dope to me, and that keeps me going. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely have one more question to ask you, and I'm gonna ask that question around this off. Did you just have a birthday? I think I saw.
Yeah. 20. Yeah. Saturday was my birthday. February
20th. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
You are welcome. I definitely wanted to tell you that. My birthday's in March. I'm a March birthday.
Okay.
And thank you. I wanna ask you this, and I'm going to end the live with this question. What would you tell your 13-year-old self? Going back, you're telling him happy birthday, remembering your 13th birthday. If you can go back and talk to KT at the age of 13, when all of this really started, when you got very serious with it, right, what would you tell him?
Ooh, man, it's so much. I tell him, you gotta stay focused. I gotta stay focused. I gotta stay out of trouble, man, and lock in on your craft. I could have locked in more. I feel like I got distracted way too many times, and I mean, it's natural. I feel like it happens to everybody. But if I'd have locked in more on my books, more, more into the music, I feel like it was tough for me because I was good in two lanes. I was good at two things. So it was hard to focus in on one and kind of really uplift. So like I was playing basketball. I happened to be really good in basketball, and I was good at music too. But I couldn't really give music my all at the time, my full focus, because I had to focus on ball too. I had to go and try to get a scholarship, go and try to, win these games, show up to practice. That took a lot of effort, and I just would, instead of all the outside stuff, all the outside noise, all the other street bulls, S word, all the craziness, I wouldn't pay it no mind and really lock in on both crafts. Like I'd have locked in on my craft, and I feel like I'd be in a better space.
But I want to, before you continue, I don't mean to cut you off, sir, but I definitely really feel very strongly that 13-year-old Killa Time would feel like today's Killa Time is the super most dopest MC in the world. I think if your 13-year-old self could see you now, oh man, he would have your poster on the wall. It wouldn't matter the numbers, how many records you sold, the person you are right now, exactly who you are right now is the superhero that little 13-year-old KT was always dreaming of. You are a dream come true to 13-year-old KT.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I agree with you. For real.
I'm sure of it. And remember that too. You are your youngest age. You are, when you started this hip hop at 13, you are a dream come true right now. So everything else you do is extra. Everything else you do, it benefits others. You've already came to that part where you can be proud of self. And yeah, we all can think that we could do things differently. Right. But again, you just said you're getting ready to go to UK, do a club. You're getting ready to do so many amazing things and help people out that the 13-year-old you would give you the biggest hug and be like, man, I am proud to be who I am. And I really sincerely hope you are, because you are an amazing talent, an absolute amazing talent. And you still have such great longevity left. So don't think that anything is wasted. You got time to continue to show out your greatness, and you will, and you will, and you will.
Amen.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. You are welcome. You are so welcome. I'm so glad I got a chance to talk with you today. I'm glad we were able to navigate through that. Any lasting words to finish off the podcast for me, KT?
Shout outs to Hip Hop Scholar. You are amazing. This is an amazing podcast. Probably the dopest interview ever. I appreciate you, and shout outs to everybody out there that was listening in. Killa Time got more music on the way. There's more life to give, more gems to drop, man. Love.
That's right, man. Hip Hop Scholar Podcast. We are out of here. Peace.